everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial I will be showing you how to knit the swatch. It is so beautiful and it's so simple. It's just a very simple combination of tuck stitch and eyelets. So I have used quite a few yarns, starting off with 4-ply mercerized cotton, going into shiny viscose, and then my favorite tape, and actually I've added some sewing thread here. That is just your normal sewing thread that you get, to sew with really. And the viscose that shrinks when you press it, and metallic viscose. So it's quite a few, but of course you can actually go ahead and change the yarns and the layout to get a completely different outcome. And I will be showing you that section here because I've just repeated it twice really. It might take a bit of time, so I don't want to keep you forever. So hopefully you enjoy this technique and get to experiment loads with it.
So I've gone ahead and casted on a few needles and knitted a few rows, and now we're going to start off with some transfer work with the help of a single prong transfer tool. So we are going to be leaving 2 needles untouched and transferring the 3rd needle over to the next needle. Transfer it either over to your left or to your right, whichever you're comfortable with, and move that empty needle all the way to the back of the bed. Leave 2 needles untouched and transfer the next one. Leave 2 untouched and transfer the next. Now go ahead and do it all across your bed. So leaving 2 in action and 1 in non-working position. There we go. So I've got 2 working, 1 empty, 2 working, 1 empty, and the empties are all the way at the back of the bed in non-working position. Now I've casted on using my 4-ply mercerized cotton, which is that one here. So once you've transferred your needles, go ahead and knit 1 row. So we are still using the cotton mercerized yarn on tension 5. So I'm going to go ahead and knit 1 row. And now I'm going to go ahead and do another transfer. So I'm going to take the 2nd needle working, transfer it over to my left, and take the 4th needle and transfer it over to my right. So the layout that we're working with is going to be 1 working, 3 not working, 1 working, 1 not working, 1 working, and 3 not working. Okay, so go ahead and do your transfer work. Okay, so just to confirm the layout with you again, you've got 1 needle in action, 3 out of work, 1 in action, 1 out of work, 1 in action, 3 out of work. Okay, go ahead and knit 1 row. And we've now set up our layout. So we're going to go ahead and change our yarn to my favorite, being the viscose. I like all the viscose yarns. So this one's a shiny viscose, which is slightly thicker than the other ones that we've used. It knits so beautifully. Okay, so the tension is still on 5, and now we're going to go ahead and move our holding cams on the hold position. So on my silver reed it goes from 2 to 1 on the left and right hand side of my carriage, and on the brother there's just 1 cam on the left hand side of your carriage, which goes from N to H. Now if you do have any other makes, just go ahead and Google this information. So maybe just check up holding cam on my knit machine. Okay, so I've gone ahead and changed my yarn, and now we're going to do some tucking. So we are going to go ahead and push forward. Within those empty sets of 3, we are pushing forward the center needle. Okay, so all the way forward, it's just the center needle of the set of 3. And now we're going to knit 6 rows. So that's 1, our 6 rows done. And now we're going to put into position, so working position, 2 empty needles, which are right next to that holding needle. Okay, so the needle that we've pushed forward, there should be 1 empty needle on the left hand side and 1 on the right hand side. Go ahead and push those forward within all of those holding needles. So the left and right all the way forward. So now our layout is 5 working, 1 empty, 5 working, 1 empty, and all of the empty needles that I've just mentioned are on the back of the bed. Okay, so 5 working, 1 non-working, 5 working, 1 not working. Okay, now push your cams back to normal knit position, and we are now going to change our yarn to the tape yarn. So again, my favorite cotton tape. These yarns just knit so nicely, absolutely love them. I do want to buy some new ones, to be honest. Okay, so the tension for my tape yarn is going to be on 8 or 9, but I'm using it on 8. And now we're going to go ahead and knit 2 rows. So now we're going to go ahead and change our yarn to the sewing thread, which is so fine, but again it gives a really nice delicate effect on your knit. The tension goes back down to 5. It is quite high up for this thickness of thread, I guess it's not yarn, so you can go lower if you like. And now we're going to go ahead and push forward all of these empty needles into hold position. Cams go back to 1, which is the hold position on the silver reed, and we're going to do 4 rows. And now I'm going to change my yarn back to the shiny viscose and do 2 rows on hold. Once you've done that, transfer, so these sets of 5 that are currently knitting, we are going to transfer the center needle over to the right or to the left. Okay, so all of the sets of 5, transfer the center over to the next needle. And move those empty needles that you've just transferred all the way to the back of the bed. Move your cams back to normal knit position, and now we're going to swap our yarn again to this viscose that shrinks when you press it. So I'm using 2 ends of the yarn, and by 2 ends I mean 2 cones, just to ply it up to make it slightly thicker. So I'm going to knit 2 rows. And now we're going to do some more transfer work. So I'm going to transfer the 4th needle over to the right. And so within the sets of 5, I'm transferring the first needle, of the set of 5 to the right, and the last needle, which is the 5th needle, over to the left. So do so on all of your sets of 5. Now this will give you a needle layout of 3 working and 3 not working. So all of those empty needles get pushed all the way to the back of the bed. Push your cams back to hold position and push forward the center needle of the empty set of 3. Take your metallic viscose, we're changing the yarn again. I'm using 2 ends of this and still on tension 5. I'm going to knit 4 rows. And I'm going to do 2 rows in the pink viscose, still on hold. And now I'm going to swap my yarn back to the tape yarn. Move my cams back to normal knit position, and my tension goes all the way up to 8. And now I'm going to knit 2 rows. And now I'm going to go ahead and transfer all of those single working needles over to my right or to my left. So the layout goes back to 3 working and 3 not working. And now we're going to push forward within those sets of 3 that are currently knitting. We're going to push forward the center needle, go back to hold position on your carriage, move your tension back to 5, and change over to the sewing thread. We're going to knit 6 rows on hold. Now we're going to push forward within those sets of 3 that are not working, just the center needle all the way forward. Move your cams back to normal knit position, change to the tape yarn and tension back up to 8. And now push forward all of the empty needles into working position and knit another row. And now that's the whole pattern done, so you can go ahead and repeat it or make certain changes to the layout, change the yarns, change the counts to get a slightly different outcome.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the demonstration, and I hope you have been experimenting loads with everything that I've shown you. Now, if you do have any questions, feel free to comment below. Do go have a look at all the patterns that I've released on my website. They are absolutely amazing. And if you haven't already done so, do subscribe to my channel. See you next week. Bye.